Well, now we're going to look at that Pioneer ctx50, part of that mini system that I've been working on for the last couple of days. And this one's also got a few major problems. This time we're looking at the Pioneer ctx50. This is the cassette deck that's part of that system that I've been working on. So again, like the others, I have untested this, so let's plug it in and see whether it does anything to start. So we can open the cassette up. I'm just going to remove the door so I can check the transport out. Oh, well, that's fallen off, so we'll have to glue that in place. There's the first fault. Glue has broken for the door, but we can fix that fairly easy. I want to see if the tape transport itself works. So I'm going to close it, and we'll see whether it does anything. Now it has power. Doesn't appear to be doing anything. So, like the others, this one's going to have a fault. So let's take this one apart and see where the fault is on this one. Looks like all four of these components have had their share of trouble. And like the others, it's just held together by 4 screws in the bottom of the cabinet. You know, I just found a new battery. I'm going to have to get some bits for this thing, but I just found a new battery for my old Black & Decker. I found a battery for it that looks like it's going to hold a charge, so I'll be able to use my cordless screwdriver when I get the right bit for it. I've just been using that for Torx because I've got the Torx bit for it. But I haven't used that old Black & Decker screwdriver since back in my servicing days. I used to use that all the time. The battery went bad on it, so I stopped using it because the battery wouldn't take a charge. Okay, let's take a look down the top on this thing here. And needs belts. Yep. Belt has melted. There's nothing left of that belt in this one. And this one, I'm not going to get away with boiling the belt on this one because this one here, the belt, has turned to mush. In fact, both belts have turned to mush. These are probably pure rubber belts on here, but well, you can see. So this one's going to have to wait until I can get some belts. I'm pulling the deck now. I just want to check the condition of the motor, make sure that there's nothing else that's gonna be wrong with this thing before I put the belts in. Okay, a few screws later and the deck pops out. Obviously I gotta clean all this crap off the flywheel. The old belt has just melted to it, and it's coming off in pieces. So I'm going to try and peel this off without leaving too much of it behind. Never going to get this stuff off my fingers. This is just disgusting. Okay, so the mechanism at least goes through the motions. I don't know whether the motor is working or not on here, so we have to check that out as well. And this other belt over here also is gonna. Oh, this one didn't melt. The counter belt's the only one that didn't melt, but everything else on here is just melted like you wouldn't believe. I want to see if this motor is spinning, because that'll go a long way to determine whether this thing's going to be fixable or not, right? If the motor's okay. When I was taking this out, one of the screws I took out was the one that holds the power switch in place, which didn't need to come out, so don't take this one out, or you'll drop the power switch. Okay. Now I'm going to power this thing up and see whether the motor's going to try and spin. Nope, the motor is seized up tighter than the drum. See, that part works. So this thing needs belts, and the motor is completely, it won't, I can't even turn it. So where we stand on this is this one needs belts and a motor. You know, got the fellow that owns this know that I gotta try and find a motor for it as well. This is how you get the motor out. You have to remove this plate that holds the motor in place and holds the flywheel and stuff in place, because the motor is attached to it from the back side. So we have to get the wires out of the way, get the plate out of the way, and then I should be able to remove the motor here if I can get these wires out of the way. What it is. It's the motor wires themselves that are in the way. There we go. See, it's seized up. Well, as you can see, I took out the motor and I put some WD-40 down the shaft to free it up, but it's not spinning the right speed, and I can feel it pulsing as it's trying to turn here. There's a dead spot. If I stop it, see, the motor itself is shot. If I give it a kick start, it'll go, but it won't start on its own. So this needs a new motor and it needs new belts. At this point, I don't know whether this thing's going to be repairable or not. I'm going to let the owner know what shape this tape deck is in and let him decide whether he wants to try and source a motor for this thing and a couple belts for it. There's probably not much else wrong with it other than the motor and the belts are shot. I'm sure the turntable that goes with this set has probably also got some issues, but this one's going back together for now, and we'll see what happens whether we proceed on this or not. Anyway, just wanted to show you guys the inside of one of these things here. We'll do another video on this if it proceeds past this point, because I don't know if or when this will be completed. So there it is. So you can see the motor is barely turning. Motor shot. It's a counterclockwise motor. Its date code on this is 25th of October 1982. So that gives you an idea of how old this system is. Got the tuner going, got the amp going. The tape deck may be a lost cause, and again, the turntable, we'll look at that separately as well. Anyway, now this can go back together for now. Thanks for watching. All the fun of putting something back together when you do an estimate. And that's the difference between a guesstimate and an estimate. Guesstimate, you kind of guess as to what needs to be done, but to really give somebody an accurate estimate, you pretty much have to take it all apart and see what all the problems are. And this one here, we have a pretty good idea that all that probably is wrong with this is the motor and the belts, but that's what we got to do. And people wonder why shops charge $100 up front to take something apart and estimate, because those that don't, you get these ones here and you get burned. They spend a whole bunch of time and then the customer doesn't want to fix it. So you take the good with the bad, though, right? Anyway, this one wasn't too bad to take apart. There's ones that are a lot worse than this out there. The fun part's going to be getting all this black crap off my hands. It's a secret weapon to get this stuff off your fingers, by the way. Black crit. 2 words. Baby oil. Wash your hands with baby oil. Alcohol will dissolve it too, right? Isopropyl alcohol will dissolve it, but baby oil will take the stuff off just like tar. Just get a little bit of baby oil, rub it on your hands, and the stuff will come right off. Bad designs. I hate these things. I hate all these tape decks like this. You're a pain in the butt to work on, especially the one that gets small like this. Because this has got to slide into slots on here and line up. There we go. So this is what I've done. I've put some baby oil on my hands, as you can see. Just wipe it in, and the tar will come off. So rub this in, wash your hands with soap and water. It'll take that black stuff off just like that. Now, if you remember how dirty my hands were before, quite remarkable. A little bit under my nails I couldn't get out. To get in there and scrub it a bit more with a toothbrush, but yeah, baby oil will take that stuff off just like that, and it leaves your hands nice and soft too, unlike if you use chemicals. That's a trick I learned from a roofer, by the way. That's what they use when they get tar and stuff on their hands. Baby oil works every time. Thanks for watching, and we'll we'll pick this up again if and when the owner of it decides to proceed.